So let's start with what is an agent. So most of you are familiar with these models, these like GPT-4 generative AI models. And they're just that. They're a model. What does that mean? They're a transformation. You give it an input, it generates some output. It just generates output. It doesn't really do anything. And so in that sense, it's a model. DeepSeek is a model. GPT-4 is a model. It's very smart when it's actually generating output. It can, for example, do machine translation, it can write code, it can tell you a joke, maybe write poetry, and do reasoning most importantly. But that's just in the text that it's outputting. Now, if you take that model and add some code to it, so if the model intends to make a call to a tool or retrieve some data from a database, for example, then that piece of code that complements the model realizes that the model is asking it to do something and goes and does it for them, then that entirety becomes an agent. And so the difference in one word between an agent and a model is an agent does stuff. It does stuff, whereas the model just produces output. So if you have an agent, what's nice about an agent is you now can give it a set of a job description. Here's what you're responsible for. Here's what I expect you to do. Here's what I expect you not to do. And here's a set of tools. So you can give it a set of tools. By giving it a set of tools is you write some code that enables the model to make calls to various different API, various different backends, apps, or retrieve some local data. Then you've basically put a knowledge worker, which is the model, in a box and given it this whole job description and allowed it to run semi-autonomously part of your process or part of your application or be basically literally a team member in your organization. When you have one of these and you have another one, maybe in an adjacent sort of field responsible for something that is in your organization that's related, then you can have these two agents talk to each other. And the nice thing is because all agents, all modern agents have some sort of large language model, some Gen AI behind them, they understand language. So they can actually speak to each other, not just with humans, but with one another and coordinate and sort of team up to respond to queries or commands that you give into the system or events that might happen within the system. So that's kind of the advent of these multi-agentic systems, and you can really create very large networks of these agents working with each other. It breaks the silos of your organization, it can be very efficient, and it can improve quality on a lot of what you want to do. And the reason why the DeepSeek and those types of like open source optimized models are good news is because you can actually run these agents more cost effectively and faster, and therefore you can have more of them and you can make the agents be more granular. And when they're more granular and responsible for a smaller subset, they're more dependable. And so that is good news for multi-agentic systems for sure.
And one of the reasons I wanted to ask you that question was also just to set the scene for the fact that I recently read that Cognizant has open sourced your Neuro-AI multi-agent accelerator.